Welcome, good morning, Sunday the 12th of February to the oil study. We will be studying wild orange and supermint. Very, very lovely combination. And I am wearing my princess dress today. My daughter has been asking me to put it on, and today was the day. So I will just put on my screen sharing so that you guys can see, hopefully. No, I can't see, because I haven't opened anything. Here we go. It's the Zoom buttons are not my favorites, I have to tell you. Now, I am sharing directly out of Canva in case you don't see anything. And it's not working the way I intended to. There is, tell me if you're live in the Zoom. And in case you don't see anything and you're already watching the recording, there is a link in the email with the ebook. So you can just open that and then listen to the audio and then read through the ebook, because that's what I'll do. I'll read through the ebook with you. So instead of having made a before and after form for this week or these 2 weeks, because we've already messed wild orange last week, I just couldn't get it together. So instead of making a form, I thought you can just journal about your process, because we still want to kind of stay in this study kind of feeling of recording your process with an oil. And you can do that with any oil, and you don't have to, obviously. But if you're interested in getting tangible results, then it's good to write down the before so that you can see the after picture better, right? But if you're anyways including oils in your everyday, it might not be so clear what one oil does. It's more for those people that take one oil at a time, right? So please, if you want, you can screenshot this picture. I will put it into the Telegram group after this call too. And today is the 12th of February, and the question after that is, what is my life like today? And you can answer that with emotional answers, or just make your list for the week, or your schedule, or your shopping list, or whatever, on whichever level you want to engage. And then you choose your oil. This week I am choosing wild orange and supermint together to experience that synergistic effect that mints and citruses have with each other. It's if you compare it to a blend that is already made in doTERRA, it's obviously the Motivate blend, right? Motivate is a lot of citruses, some peppermint, and some other herbs. And I experience a similar motivational feeling just when I open the bottles together even and smell them together. It smells a little bit candy-like and very, very delicious. So I directly associated with pouring these into my water and making a beautiful either hair diffuser or just a roll-on blend so that I can experience them together all week. So that's my intention, why I want to do this, is to feel that motivation and energy and clarity that they can bring me. In order to, I need to fight with the camera a little bit here, just a moment. So this is the first page of this mega course book. So then I will send it around singular, because I've added it on in the front in order to be able to find it easier, because having worked through frankincense and adaptive and the linalool and linalool acetate, we've talked about the nutrition, stress, hydration. We have quite the book by now. So page 49 is supermint. Let's dive in. If you have supermint with you, you can, just like with peppermint, you can take a drop on your thumb and push it up into the roof of your mouth. Or just take a drop in your hand, and then let's breathe with it a little bit. And we breathe in but with 4 counts, then we hold our breath with 4 counts, and then we breathe out with 5 or 6 counts. So you breathe in with your nose, and you breathe the oil in with your nose with 4 counts. 1, 4, and then we hold with 4 counts. And then we release 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So by releasing more, we kind of calm the body down at the same time as we are breathing in an oil. So I'm already stacking 2 habits that I have: breathing in oils and using this. It's called square breathing. There was the word square, fyrkant, square breathing. So you breathe in 1 wall, you hold 1 wall of the square, you breathe out 2 walls of the square actually, or you breathe out 1 wall of the square, and then you pause again 1 wall of the square. That is one breathing exercise that is really effective if you're stressed. So if you just notice that you haven't been breathing well. So if that is your case, then you can take an oil or just breathe without an oil, and breathe in with 4, hold with 4, breathe out with 4 or more, and then have a little break before you take the next in breath. Let's do it a couple of times, just so that I can do it without having to talk in between, all right? So in, hold, out, pause. In, hold, out, pause. In, hold, out, pause. You can do this as many times as you want. I have to keep talking so that we can move into the facts about the SuperMint. So SuperMint is the Menta blend. So we have the blend of the different mint oils in 1 bottle. And just wondering when my computer's... I hope you don't hear the fan of my computer too loud. It's being really loud on this side. The doTERRA has other blends in the single oil. I mean, we know we have the blends, right? But in the single oil assortment, we have single oils that are blended of different subspecies of that plant, of that kind of plant. So, for example, copaiba is made of 4 different copaiba trees: the Copaifera reticulata, officinalis, coriacea, and langsdorffii. So that is because we want the benefits of all of them, and we want to make sure that we don't overharvest any one of them. Same with frankincense. We have the resin from Boswellia carteri, sacra, papifera, and freriana. They all have beautiful therapeutic effects, singular, but when we combine them, they become the best frankincense essential oil, in brackets blend, on the market. So they combine all these therapeutics, and they become more effective, and they become more valuable in that way, because we need less to experience more effect. So already by blending frankincense, and that happened a long time ago, doTERRA set a new milestone on the essential oils industry. All of a sudden, there was a frankincense that could be used a lot better for therapeutic purposes without having changed anything synthetically or adulterated or, you know, man-made substances added or whatever, or withdrawn. It's pure, four kinds of pure frankincense makes one powerful bottle of, we could call it Super Frank. If we have super mint, why not say Super Frank? The cypress is a blend too that we have. Actually, I forgot one here. Alice, you may know that already. I forgot one just because I was a bit tired when it just came into my mind now. So cypress is from Cypressus cerpevirens and lusitanica. And there we have again two kinds that make one good cypress oil. The one that I forgot is eucalyptus. From this year on, eucalyptus is also a blend, but yeah, that I will take that up when we study eucalyptus, because that I want to go. There's lots of different eucalypti in there. I really want to go into a deeper, put our spotlight on that a bit more. Now we have the supermint blend that we talk about today. We have Mentha pipirita, Mentha type Japon, Mentha citrata, and Mentha spicata. And we know these already from before. They are obviously our peppermint, Japanese mint, bergamot mint, and spearmint. If you have those at home, you can also take them and now smell a little bit on each and experience the difference in each of them. Bergamot mint actually smells a little bit like bergamot, and the Japanese mint is also called Canadian mint sometimes. Is it though? I read that, but now I'm like, no, this is type Japon. So I'll have to double check that. Sometimes they call the mints different Latin names, depending on also where they're grown. So I suppose when it's grown in Canada, they may call Japanese mint Mentha type Mentha canadensis. Japanese mint is the one that has the most menthol, the most of that cooling substance, but we'll go into that now. So when I listened to the presentation of why doTERRA chooses to make this mint blend specifically, then I learned two things. We were out after finding essential oil with the highest, mint oil with the highest menthol percentage. And so we can try to tweak nature by growing mint a certain way, or by giving it certain, like, you know, by using hybrid seeds or something. But that's not how doTERRA wants to do it. doTERRA wants to do it in the most natural way. So the plant is supposed to grow the way the plant loves to grow. And I'm just double checking. Yes, I am recording. So we always look for where the mint plant thrives the most. And then we also want to be sustainable and ethical, right? And we want to help the most people by creating jobs. So by blending all four oils, we have done that. We have created 16,000 we have created jobs for 16,000 or extra jobs. So they for 16,000 small scale farmers in India. Trying to finish sentences here. I have so much to say. So 16,000 small scale farmers in India are now growing the 4 different kinds of mint for us, so that we can have a sustainable influx and production of mint oils, so that we don't have to run out of them all the time. So that makes it more stable in that way. So we can expect always to find supermint on the shelves. And none of the mints is monocropped or overharvested, so that we don't have all our demand pressing on one kind of the mint family. So there's all these aspects that I learned. 2 main things was that we were out after the menthol, and usually menthol is added as crystals into inferior oils to make them
more minty, but then they're not more therapeutic. We know that, right? So we can't singulate one molecule and just dump it into some sort of fluid and call it then, oh, this is an essential oil now. That's not how it works. We need the complexity of the natural oil, the unadulterated and unchanged nature from the mint plants. But we can raise the menthol content by adding all the mints together, because Japanese mint, for example, has a lot of menthol, and we want that. We like that. But then we also want the menthol and the other compounds that are in the other mint oils, because they make it. They make the menthol more, or they make the peppermint oils more than just cooling. The cooling effect can be reached by singulating the menthol too. But that's not the only thing we want from peppermint. So while you're experiencing peppermint, and maybe you've used it, or a SuperMint, I mean, but if you only have peppermint, you can do it with that, obviously. You can remember that we use mint for calming our stomach, for calming our mind, for calming hot skin, for calming fevers. We don't want to break fevers before they've done their jobs. But if fevers go a little bit too high and we get worried as mamas, it's better to use peppermint or SuperMint oil with that high, or Japanese mint if you only have that, with that menthol to cool the body, than to use a Tylenol or Alvedone or whatever aspirin you would be recommended to give to your child by an official source. Those medical interventions in the fever context can prolong the process of healing, instead of letting the fever run its course and then healing out whatever is there in the body. We will push the fever down with a synthetic remedy, and the body can't heal whatever was there to heal. Also, we create a lot of work in the liver, depleting what's called glutathione. Glutathione is one of the detoxing and healing metabolites that the liver makes. It's an enzyme, and we need the glutathione to heal a fever. But if we take a fever-killing medicine, we deplete the liver of this glutathione. So we have even less than what we make it even harder for the body to actually heal out whatever the fever is fighting against. So fevers are good. They can be scary, but they're good. Peppermint can be just to round off that spike of a fever when you get scared as a mama. Applied on the bottom of the feet of the children, pull out that fever slightly, and then let it run its course until it's done. Okay, that was a total sidetrack. So back to SuperMint. We have managed with SuperMint to have the most powerful, highest menthol content containing essential oil without adulteration, with the most powerful therapeutic levels, just by blending what nature gave us. That was my one learning. That was why doTERRA wanted to do this, SuperMint. And then the other learning was that doTERRA is aiming to triple their impact by 2030. That means there will be three times as many people in this call by 2030, I hope. So what they're saying is that they want 3 times as many job opportunities, 3 times as many customers, 3 times as many oil users, and so on. 3 times as much oil produced, 3 times as much space that doTERRA takes on the essential oil market. By having such big goals, and they know they can do it, they need to scale up in an ethical, sustainable, socially viable, like all these kind of aspects kind of way. And scaling up means making the right relationships with the right farmers at the right numbers, and producing the right plants in the right manner. So that's why many of our oils are being scaled up by being made blends so that we can sustain the demand, but also take care of the earth and the farmers at the same time. There's so many details to this, but let's move on. Some emotional content, I suppose. So I looked at what do the different oils, the different mint oils bring. Bergamot mint brings heart revitalizing, uplifting, tenderly calming, balancing, comforting, soothing. So there's lots of more that calm sort of support in bergamot mint, whereas Japanese mint brings, some call it, for example, Adam Barley calls Japanese mint the oil of new paradigms. So it's more like a future orientated. The oil of enlivened soul, inspires strength, confidence, and optimism. So I went looking online, what have other people said? Because I haven't worked myself into the energetics of these specific oils myself yet. I experienced that confidence very clearly with SuperMint. So I call my SuperMint the oil of confidence. With peppermint, we know already it's the oil of the buoyant heart. So we can lift our heart literally from a dark place into a lighter place. And we can utilize that when we feel down, when we feel heavy, and when we just need a break from any situation. We can do that breathing exercise as I showed you with peppermint or with SuperMint, whichever. And spearmint is the oil of confident speech. So we have confidence, we have confident speech, we have a light heart, a buoyant heart, we have a calm nervous system in one oil. We have lots of energy, but also stability in one oil. I love that. SuperMint usage, you can go back to these pages later, obviously, or you take screenshots now. We have digestive support usage by just using SuperMint in your smoothie or in your water or just directly under your tongue. You can do that. It is minty. You noticed it when you used it in the beginning. So I find 1 drop under my tongue is a bit much for me, but I just take I dab it on my skin, on my hand once, and then I lick that off, and that's the right amount for me. It's beautiful as a massage in the abdomen, or just even a drop in your belly button for after meals or after a heavy day where you feel like everything is kind of rumbling in the stomach. We inhale deeply, you noticed the effect, and it's beautiful, beautiful in the diffuser. I have it now in the diffuser together with wild orange, and that's one of my favorite diffuser combinations, actually, citrus and mint, just because it gives my brain that like spa experience where it feels fresh, it feels uplifting, it feels yummy, it feels luxurious. I'd ask you to go back to these pages later and read more because we have a lot left. So I gave you a whole page from just copied out of PubMed on what menthol is. Cyclic monoterpene alcohol, and then all the well-known cooling characteristics, but also we can now they tell about where it's used, and what I found interesting, it's even used in cigarettes, obviously. Imagine that dissonance between menthol wanting to be good and then being stuck into a cigarette. I wouldn't want to be menthol. What I found interesting here is the demand for menthol is high, and it was previously estimated that the worldwide use of menthol was 30 to 32,000 metric tons per year. So that's just menthol. So they are singulating menthol from the Japanese mint most of the time, and that it's used abundantly. The plants are known to exhibit biological activities in vitro and vivo, such as antibacterial, antifungal, antipruritic, anti-cancer, and analgesic effects, and are also an effective fumigant, so for the air. In addition, menthol is one of the most effective terpenes used to enhance the dermal penetration of pharmaceuticals, meaning that things that you put on your skin go through the skin better when you add peppermint. So think of that. Whatever you want to add to your body, you can put it through your skin. Peppermint will help your skin to take it up better. There's another main component, that's menthone. Menthone is not less impressive, I write. It regulates T cells, lowers inflammation, especially in the allergic context, is amazing. And we know that, and in rheumatoid arthritis, it's very cooling, right? If we think of arthritis being an inflammation, being more on the hot side, and then I'm multitasking now. While we're talking, I'm thinking of my sore joints on my feet and applying deep blue stick because of the menthone in the peppermint in the deep blue stick. I want my sore joints to feel some relief. And then obviously there's also some copaiba and some other beautiful oils in deep blue that are helping my sore joints to relieve the pain, to me to experience pain relief. Here we go. But back to allergic inflammation and so on. So it's asthma and allergies that menthone is so great for. And we know that if you have allergies and you've had oils in spring in your life before, some people here are new, so they're yet to experience the first spring, but some of you have already tried that. If you have allergies, you can take peppermint as an allergy reliever. And if you have asthma, you can do that breathing exercise with peppermint or with air. Air is got some more than just peppermint oils that help the airways to regulate. So beautiful, beautiful effects for anti-inflammatory and anti-allergic. And I can attest to that. I have a pollen allergy in July and June, and I usually actually put some mint in my face oil and put it under my eyes because it hits my eyes most. That's kind of my weak point. And we never should get essential oils in our eyes, right? That's a recommendation that we keep away from our eyes. But when my eyes are so itchy, I actually have to have peppermint in my face oil and kind of wash my face with peppermint. But it's minute amounts. I really dilute it down. It's like 1 drop in a liter of water would be almost even too much still, So, and then it does do the minty thing in my eyes, but that brings my tears in my eyes, and they then calm down my itch. So it's a really beautiful effect. But now let's move on to wild orange. I'm just going to take a sip. Here is some slides that I've already sent through into the group, but I just wanted to show them once more, just in case you haven't had the time during the week. If we open the bottle of wild orange, and just take a moment and smell it, and take a drop. I'm going to put some in my hair actually, because I'm going to go to work later and I want it to smell good. It's amazing for as a during the day diffuser, throughout the day diffuser, I suppose would be a better word. So wild orange gives me happiness in an instant, and we're all different obviously, but I think most of us experience wild orange as a happy maker, like a little sun in a bottle. And part of what makes us happy in here is the limonene, but it's also the myrcene, which I'll talk about a little bit in a second. So you can take a drop in the palm of your hands and enjoy it
for your breathing exercise, or just as a smell, a quick scent to make you happy. You can put it in the diffuser, you can put it on your skin. I will talk about a little bit this sensitivity factor that we always need to think about with citrus oils, but I'll also relativize it because I don't think it's a big danger. It's just good to know. You can have wild orange in your water. You can have it together with supermint in your water. You can make beautiful cocktails with it. You can make salad dressings with it. It's really, really versatile. Physically, we have the limonene in here that is super cleansing. So we can, you know, wash our surfaces with it. There's even wood cleaning recipes with it, where you have like a wood polish with just some coconut oil and some wild orange oil. You can wash your plants with it. If you have plants with these big leaves, you know, indoor plants, and maybe they have some pests on them, you can take soapy water, or you can just take some coconut oil and put some wild orange in it, or some On Guard in it. You can have On Guard, you can take On Guard cleaning concentrate, because we have the wild orange in there, and then you wash off whatever pests they are. Is very effective. Skin issues can be cleansed with wild orange. It's very mild. You can make face masks with it. You can, you know, scrub it, or just dab it onto your wherever there is an eruption. It's calming. It's the one of, like bergamot, also a calming citrus oil. It is uplifting, but it is not activating. There's a difference there. So if you think like wild orange, even though it's a citrus, it stands by my lavender. It's an evening oil for me. So we have it in our diffuser for the children to sleep with frankincense together, or with air together, or with lavender together, or with all of them together, depending on what we want. So I love making aromatic dressings, and that's what I make mostly, with geranium, lavender, wild orange, frankincense, or nowadays guaiac wood, some vanilla, some grapefruit, but wild orange is usually in my aromatic dressings, and that's for my whole body after the shower. I copied out the wild orange sourcing and chemical overview, just because I found it fun to do. Steal some graphics from doTERRA. And here we see what it's limonene and myrcene. Myrcene can give us digestive support, and limonene would be uplifting and cleansing. And here you can see what you can couple it with or blend it with, and where it comes from. I have a little bit further down, and I've sent it already in the Telegram group. I've added in that little YouTube video on where wild orange comes from, just because the farmers are so happy. I just love them so much. Brazilian farmers are the best. So okay, so let's look at some science about wild orange. We are now focusing on limonene and myrcene as the main components, and that's what the science also focuses on. We have, in blends with other oils, we have anti-inflammatory activity, similar to non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. So they have compared with other drugs. We have support for intestinal flora. We have salivary oxytocin concentration in postmenopausal women. So thinking of where we're all heading when the hormones drop, when we go into peri or meno or post, and then post-menopause. Wild orange can be part of what can help us through. So the oxytocin, we don't want to drop that too far, because that's part of our happy making landscape, inner landscape. So, but when the body drops hormones, it can be quite rapid, and it can be like becomes like a surge downward, because oxytocin obviously dances during our fertile years dances with the other hormones. So it kind of just gets pulled down with the other ones. But then by using plant substances or plant remedies, we can help the body to still make what we need to make our entire lifespan. And even though we're dropping the fertility hormones quite a lot. So use your wild orange, ladies. And I think what they in that studied was just aromatherapy, so just smelling the oil. That's what I find is so interesting. Often they even just use the aromatic method and study, and then they took saliva tests and measured the oxytocin in there. Here we have a foot massage that led to better sleep quality and improvement in restless leg syndrome. And then one is very beautiful that after cesarean birth, we can experience anxiety, and orange and neroli actually can be very helpful in lifting that anxiety. So it's a beautiful oil to give to your friends that have just had babies. It's very beautiful for postnatal anxiety too. And it has obviously antimicrobial activity, because that's why the orange makes it, right? The essential oil of orange is in the orange peel in order to be antimicrobial against microbes that want to eat the orange. So I'm glad that science has validated that. We have special antimicrobial activities against salmonella, which is great because then they can use this oil, or at least the compound myrcene from this oil is then singulated and used, but we can at home with wild orange use the entire oil and wash our produce with it. So think you get vegetables or even eggs or whatever you buy in the shops, even though they're probably in plastic, they're not clean. So many doTERRA advocates actually have these recipes with like a vegetable wash or a produce wash, where you put everything into your sink, you put some On Guard cleaner concentrate in it, just a couple of drops, soap, and then you add lemon or wild orange or like a citrus oil in order to get like rid of all microbes and all dust and all the whatever toxins that it could have collected on the way from the farmer to your house. I've done it a couple of times. I'm usually too lazy, but I've done it a couple of times, and it is incredible how much, when you then take out your produce and you rinse it and put it in the fridge, how much grime is in your water. Is just like, whoa, because you would have eaten that otherwise. Because when we just rinse our veggies, most of the stuff doesn't come off because it's on there still, because it isn't water soluble. But then if you come in with the limonene or the myrcene, you can go kill some more stuff that you don't want to eat. Essential oils are selective, so good bacteria often survive essential oil washing. Just so you guys keep that in mind, that we're not sterilizing. We're just they're testing for specific strands of specific bacteria, and essential oils aren't killing all bacteria, which is really, really good. Then we have one study which I found interesting, because we have wild orange. I have wild orange in all my cleaning, surface cleaning substances or products, I mean, because I obviously use the On Guard cleaner concentrate, and wild orange is in On Guard. And they had a study where it's shown that using wild orange or using essential oil of orange can help against house flies. They have these like cycles of development from egg to larvae to actual fly, and that cycle is disturbed by myrcene, by this and by limonene, by these compounds that nature makes for us. So clean more with wild orange. Here's the sourcing video and an overview in which other oils and products we have wild orange. In the lifelong vitality, wild orange is actually added because it helps our gut lining
to be more healthy, and in that way we can utilize the vitamins better. So it's kind of an it makes the right context for vitamins actually to be taken up into the body. It raises bioavailability. So doTERRA doesn't only have a high quality therapeutic vitamin pack, it also has a high quality therapeutic vitamin pack with essential oils in it, which nobody else really has. I mean, some use peppermint or wild orange just for taste. I know some. I've bought some vitamins that come in liquid where they added it for taste, but not for take up. It's not. It doesn't go like with the actual substances in the capsule to the place and then opens. You know, it's just for in the mouth. So that makes doTERRA's vitamins actually quite special on the vitamin market, on the supplement market. And we also have enzymes in there, by the way. We have to do a call on these at some point. Enzymes also help raise bioavailability of the actual, so you take up more of the vitamins that you're eating or the substances that you're eating. We have some usage suggestions. You may have read this already. You can go back and read it if you haven't. An evening face serum, and here I talk about the photosensitivity. So there's one little compound in our citrus oils that can be a little bit like a magnifying glass to UV rays. So if you think sunshine hits our skin, and if we have a magnifying glass, it'll burn, right? And fuocoumarine can act like such a magnifying glass and burn our skin if it is applied just before we go out in the sun. So my solution to this is, in the summertime, don't use citrus oils in the morning topically. Drinking is fine, in your hair is fine, aromatically is fine, and wherever the sun doesn't shine is fine. Just not topically where you will be exposed to sunshine, or just have that guideline of citrus oils in the summertime like to be used in the evening instead, because then you have this period of time where it can be absorbed into your body without direct sunshine on it, or without direct sunshine from right above, because when the sun comes from the 30 or 40 degree angle, it's not that bad anymore. So it's more about that midday sun that makes it that raises the risk of being burnt. You can have your after sun care with the wild orange instead of your morning care. It's fine to shower with it. It's definitely fine because you wash off most of it anyway, so no worries. I don't want you guys to be scared of citrus oils. Just be aware that in the summertime, they are not for the morning, they're only for the evening. And then I thought, it is Sunday, so go make a cake. We can use wild orange internally by baking a cake with it, even though it does get baked out in high percentage. You will taste the difference. I have made this cake with just oranges or with oranges and essential oil of orange, and it's so much better with the essential oil of orange. So some of it is not baked out of it by or it's not lost by baking. And here's the recipe, which you can find in the book. Yes, and now we are, that was it. We are done with wild orange and SuperMint. And I wonder if you have any questions. We have a couple of minutes left. So if you have any questions, put them in the chat or unmute yourself. But if not, that's also fine. I know that the mamas on this call have children at home. Let's see if I can get you.
Hello, just one question. I also had lavender on my mind, that they kind of combine it to get a better quality, no? But it's then from different fields, or what is the difference between this and
okay, so lavender, they have the same species,
but so it's all Lavandula angustifolia. The same plant is just grown in different areas, and we combine that. So we have from France and from Bulgaria, and we combine that. But we don't have different. So because the different, I think so. I'm gonna Google it right now because I think they would write, if you write lavender, doTERRA, and then you write PIP, PIP. I can share that so you guys can see what I mean. Share my screen again. Here we go. So I wrote lavender doTERRA PIP. Then we get this that's called media.doterra.com, lavender. And here, let's see. So they would write plant parts. They would write here in this section if it was different plants. So maybe I just need to, here it says Lavandula angustifolia, just one kind. When I pull up this PIP, so that's product information page, if we say frankincense, I had it open yesterday, so I'm going to try find it. Frankincense doTERRA PIP. Let's see what it says there with the frankincense. That's again the media.doterra.com frankincense. And then I show you where here plant part, resin from Boswellia carti, Sacra parpifera, and Fredana. It says on the bottle too, actually, but that's where I double checked. So they have to always tell us if they use different cousins from the same plant family. And so lavender is the same sister, just grown in different regions, the same as with oranges from Greece and from Brazil. So we have different growing regions, but then it's the same species or subspecies. And with the other oil, I'm going to look for, because I talked about eucalyptus.
Or when I look for Copaiba, I think I don't see different ones.
Okay, I'll show you because I found it yesterday.
No, I get Pflanzenteil. No?
Yeah, Pflanzenteil. So it's the part of, exactly, yeah. And with the eucalyptus, I'm not sure if they have updated it because it's the new. Now you see, it's just leaf and stem. So plant part is just Eucalyptus radiata. They will update this once we get the blended one, actually. Because it's been announced that eucalyptus will be blended, but I'm not sure if they're already selling it on the European market as blended. It will say on the bottle, I mean here, the Menta blend, it will then say ingredients: peppermint oil, Japanese mint oil, bergamot mint oil, and spearmint oil. So they have to obviously always describe it correctly. But I can imagine, because lavender, there's so many different kinds, but they are also quite easy to grow in large amounts because we have the whole lavender region in France and in Bulgaria. So I think they wouldn't blend that yet because it's quite sustainable there, and it's a high, what's the word, high yield. You know, you get a lot out of it when you distill it. But let's keep our eyes open because I'm pretty sure there will be more because of sustainability. There will be more of these, and I think also what I understand is that therapeutically, I mean, energetically, there will always be a little bit of a blended feeling because we have these different personalities, almost energetics in here, right? But I think physically speaking, we raise therapeutic potential by blending, by this, because they go in and become synergistic. So I think it's an interesting thought to remember that I want to still have all the single oils too, so that I can work with one-on-one. Whereas I've never experienced a single frankincense of just one of the kinds, right? So frankincense for me has always been the four types. Same with Copaiba.
So I wonder if I would experience frankincense different. Maybe I wouldn't even like frankincense, just Carteri or just Frerana or whatever they're called. So it's an interesting thought. I did tell my Australian friend who's my oils customer, I said to her, please stock up on, because it's then the Australian eucalyptus, like the Australians have a really close relationship to eucalyptus. It's for them, it's almost like our peppermint. Like they use it in that same way also. They put it in, for cooling effect, they use eucalyptus. I'm like, oh my God, that's interesting. That's like a local traditional relationship to it. And then now if we're blending it, then it's not just theirs anymore in the bottle, right? It's not just the Australian eucalyptus, it'll be blended with others. So I told my friend, get some extra bottles if you love eucalyptus, just to be sure to be stocked up. There is obviously always a downside, but also the same with the reformulation efforts in everything. I asked a doTERRA representative, like the guy that oversees Europe, like, but Deep Blue is going to be reformulated without the wintergreen. Is it going to be just as good? We love Deep Blue. Everyone loves Deep Blue. And he says, like, obviously everyone loves Deep Blue, but he's really confident that they will love Deep Blue even more when it's reformulated. So I was like, oh, I never even thought about that. I get nostalgic directly instead. I hold on to the old. I'm like, no, I want my Deep Blue. But maybe it's actually next level. That's where we're going, right? So thank you for that, Alice. I will keep my eyes open on lavender, because I also want to be informed as soon as it's blended.
Yeah, it's interesting. And just what I learned from the chemical background is that because of the photosensitivity, that it's the part bergapten which is making photosensitive. And you can't say if it's in the citrus oils or not, because it depends on how it's growing. So in the bergamot, it's for sure. But the other citrus oils, you could look the chemical background up and then see how photosensitive it is. But it's more easy to say.
Yeah, exactly. So on the list, if you look up the number, the ID under the bottle, and you put it into source to you, or at the bottom of our pages, we can look up quality ID of our oils. On the bottom of our customer account is like a little thingy where you can write it in, and then you can read the list of your chemical compounds that are in your oil. And so if there's bergapten, and then it depends on how much it is too, right?
Because all the people that I know who had photosensitive accidents that was with bergamot.
Yeah. It's but I know one person with Lyme also, but then it must have been just that. It's also every year, I suppose, right? If it ripens that certain way, then it has developed bergapten, and then it's in there, and they don't want to take it out, because some people do that. Some people double distill and stuff so that those kind of parts they break down in heat, but then you also don't have the most beautiful therapeutic oil anymore. So we don't sacrifice therapeutics for safety. Just we can always just navigate around it. And I've never had problems. I didn't care. I mean, I live in Sweden. We have very intense sunshine in the summer. I've never burnt myself, but my husband has. So, I think it depends on your skin, how you're moving in the sun, how much you seek shade, and so on. So, it's good to warn, but it's not good to be scared, because it's not necessary. If you get burned, it takes a while, like, to heal, but it will heal, just like I don't think anyone has like actual scarring. It doesn't go that deep. So I'd be careful. Just if you have very sensitive skin, and you know that already, that you easily burn in the sunshine or whatever, then I would be extra careful. But and with small children probably would be extra careful, because they may not tell you if they're burning. You're not in their body feeling their feelings, and they may just ignore it. Yeah, so, but it's interesting, because I really feel like if we talk too much about like safety issues, people get so scared, because people, like, our brains are made to look for like the red flags, kind of, and when there's then all of a sudden red flags on all your citrus oils, and you don't use them anymore because you can't remember really what was the danger. That, for me, that's really a pity if that happens. So then I rather say, like, just use it in the evening, so that there's like a way out, or under your feet, or
I have one question, because you're longer in doTERRA than me, and I have the feeling when I look at the oil of the month that it's bigger amount of what they give to us. Is it right? Because before it was like 15 euros, 16, 17, under 20. Now it was lavender, it was air, so it was, I have it in my mind, but it's more than before. I don't know if that was before already and I didn't, or is it really, maybe they give more because they want to triple the impact, so they
want
give
more people in? I don't know, because I mean, it's for the product of the month is the gift for the people that are already in, right? So that's, I think they just love us. And I don't just think, I know it, because they say that all the time, that we are like, we that use the oils and regularly use the oils and regularly order, we are the ones that are keeping like the company growing, right? So I think they just love us, and they are generous. And what I'm thinking is, if they had to, because we had a price raise, right? But they raised the prices in almost all the assortment. So by that, I think they can be more generous. But then also, I have had, like, it maybe also goes in waves, where there's sometimes they don't really think like that, like they don't really measure in it has to be a certain amount. It's more like they give us what's there, or what makes sense for the season, or like it's more of that kind of, so they must plan ahead quite, because I know they plan like 4 years ahead or something, so they didn't know that we would be in this kind of world when they were planning what would be the product of the month.
I mean, because the On Guard, they may also gave a 5 milliliter On Guard one time, and now it's a 50 milliliter lavender and air, and they could also do a 5 milliliter.
That's true. Yeah, that would be enough almost, right? It's valuable. I agree. I agree. They do. It's, you can see it in the BOGOs too. I'm thinking there may be a BOGO this month, actually.
Yeah.
I'm kind of hoping not, because I don't have any money, but but I think there may be after the 20, like in the last week of the month, I think. But anyways, in the BOGOs, you sometimes get like the normal, what I would consider normal and not so interesting oils, and then other people are raving about them, and then value also is determined in whatever is your favorites. And sometimes they have like just the really expensive oils, and I'm like, how is anyone gonna partake in this BOGO if you like put the bar up here, but I don't know, it's not, there's no regular pattern that can easily be predicted. And totally not. It's like really hard to predict how they're planning this and thinking this. It's so fun. Like now with the Blue Lotus, like who saw Blue Lotus coming out of nowhere? What? All of a sudden it's here. It's crazy. Did you get Blue Lotus?
Yeah, I got Blue Lotus, yeah.
Oh, do you like it?
Yeah, I didn't use it so much. It's a little bit like, because it's I'm still checking it out.
I still have, you remember the spring collection, floral collection?
Yeah, it was not available when I didn't saw it that I could buy it, but I know it exists.
Yeah.
But for example, the BOGOs I also bought 3 times Blue Tansy. I mean, it was like 50% off, and this is quite a lot.
Yeah, that is a lot. I think it was close to the date. It was like a sale because of it was too close, because people don't use it so quickly. So then you want it to be like 2 years until this best buy date.
and then like I use mine up in 1 year anyway. So you know, like I don't think oils can go bad if you just use them. Yeah. No, but I'm thinking the Blue Lotus, I have my old bottle. I didn't get the new one. I would love to, but I just can't afford it right now. But it's such an interesting oil, and I want to really know from someone who has got it, if they like it, because it's not an easy oil.
No, I was also thinking, yeah, it's not such a funny oil, so it's a much more deeper oil.
Yeah, it is challenging.
But it's I don't have any really personal experience yet. Then just putting it several times, smelling it a few times. So
it's just like it doesn't even smell good, but it smells fascinating. I think that's what I experience. It's not even like wow, you know.
I mean, I really would love to put it on every day, but then it's also because it's limited time offer. But it has the meaning of peeling off everything, like, or protecting.
That's interesting, yeah. But I think even like they say it's limited time offer, but then it will come in the Christmas catalog again, or you know, it's just that they won't have it all year round yet. So
yeah, I mean, it's like beautiful. It's coming and going all the time, so I know it's coming again. So,
exactly.
But
I think so too.
all
right, I'm gonna just say goodbye to the recording. Thank you for watching and listening and being here, Alice and Sophia, and see you next time.